Welcome to the Walk in Victory podcast, where we sit you at the feet of the masters. I'm excited to introduce you to our host NaRon Tillman, recording from the bustling borough of Queens, New York. On this show, we dive deep into the journeys of individuals who have overcome tremendous challenges to achieve their goals.
Good afternoon, good day, good evening. I don't know what time you're listening or where you're listening from. It's your boy, your host, NaRon Tillman, and you are with me for about half an hour to 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
I grew up in Jersey a long time ago, and my dad actually worked for Exxon, and he either worked in the city, or if you're familiar with the area, Linden, New Jersey, Elizabeth, New Jersey, there's a big refinery there. So depending on when it was in his career, that's where he worked. And so he moved when I was between my junior and senior year of high school. He moved the family and Exxon Chemical to Houston.
Oh, wow.
And so that got me down south. So my college search went, and I was searching from Clemson on south in my search. My search just went west, and I ended up in Dallas at SMU. And so got a degree in economics. I knew since I was a small child almost, that I wanted to be able to analyze companies. In June of 2020, we completed the acquisition. And for the last 4 years, I've been CEO of this $30 million book distribution company. And we're in the process of reselling that. The COVID started, March 2020? We were going to our first closing. We were going to close this deal in end of March 31st, 2020. 7 days prior to closing, I get this call from my lender. Credit committee won't allow us to go forward. What do you mean? We've been doing diligence for 2 months here. What do you mean they won't go forward? I've already gotten your approval. Yeah, I love the kind of your podcast and what you talk about, overcoming adversity. So we're now getting towards the end of April, right? Early May, and we're at the closing date. We said this is the day we're going to close, and we had already integrated all of our systems. Every day we were reporting to them sales. Every day we were reporting to them cash collections. Every day we were reporting to them how many books are returned, all the metrics. And through some miracle, he wasn't happy, but he seemed to understand. And I said, we are going to get this deal done. I don't know how, but we're going to get this deal done. And so we finally found a family office.
Why were you so headstrong that this would be the business that it turned out to be? What did you see in that?
Once we had told the buyer and we got invested in getting this deal done, I wasn't going to let it go unless somebody yanked it away.
What do you think as an entrepreneur, as someone who's analyzed and looked at successful business, what are some of the key ingredients that?
My job coming into that position as CEO is to work myself out of a job. They don't know the culture, they don't know the people, they don't know the history. Either they're going to come up and do the task that you need them to do, provide the leadership you need them to provide, or not. Figure out what's next. Forget what's behind. Look only at what's forward. People spend way too much time worrying about what happened in the past. But all you can do is enough. And if you just take those two lessons by themselves, it's life-changing.
Because it removes the pressure, right?
A lot of these guys were CEOs of publicly traded companies. They were traveling 5 days a week, 4 days a week. I was spending 3 weeks a month in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. It's a completely different business. And most startups, if it's going to be successful, will take 3 to 5 years. to earn a living, right? You know this stat: 90% of all startups will fail in the first 5 years. You can go out and buy a business, right? I bought that company with no money down. We were able to borrow the money. I want to work with individuals. I want to work with entrepreneurs who've got a burning passion. Go out and buy a company. You put the right system in place. I mean, it's like anything else in life. If you do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you get to a result. If you know what you're doing, there's no reason people can't go out and buy a business. He said, Jeff, I just want to buy $1 million in cash flow.
He just wanted the
That's
cash
who you
flow.
care about. And we've got a second one that we're working on that we put on pause while we got the first one done. I've created this thing called Acquisitions Professor. So I will train people how to find, diligence, finance, and close the business. I'm training people how to do it, and I'll be right beside them to make sure they're doing it right. It's effectively it's a hybrid between a coaching model and an investment banking model. My goal is to have 100% conversion. 100% of those folks will end up buying a business. It might take 3 months. It might take 6 months. It might take a year, sometimes even more. But I'll be with them all the entire way.
And I want people to who are listening to really start to think expansively concerning what it is that you want to do. Building a business.
I've got good friends in our neighborhood that's what they do, and they love it. God bless them.
I'm glad it's not for
And
you. I'm glad
no,
it's not
not for
for
me.
you.
And yeah, in fact, I said it's acquisitions professor. The professor came from when I was in college. I was a math whiz. I had taken calculus in high school, and I could teach calculus. I could teach advanced algebra, whatever math classes these freshmen were taking. If they're having trouble, they knocked on my door, and we walked through it, and I was able to dummy down something complex into something that is simple, understandable. So they dubbed me to be the professor. Look, if you're going into a workout situation, the company's about to fail, and you need to do something now, that's what you have to do.
You don't need 90 days to evaluate a losing situation. And he needs to get the attention of all who's going to stay immediately.
Be smart about how quickly you make changes, because it's not only the change that's going to be impacted, but it's every employee in that company is going to be impacted. And what you don't want to do unnecessarily is have a stampede to the exit of the people that really know how to run this business.
Run a business, yeah. Some people get inheritance, they get money, and then they don't know what to do, and then they wind up spending it all. Interest rates are not going to give you the return that something like this can give you.
Jobs, Michael Dell, all college dropouts. Yeah. Virgin Airlines, Richard Branson, I don't think finished high school. If you're teachable, are willing to do anything it takes, and will not give up, right? You're a great candidate to buy a business. Great wealth comes ultimately from owning, growing, and selling a business. Nobody ever got wealthy waiting for their 3 to 5% cost of living increase, living from paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Anybody that you know that's got real wealth built a business, or was born into a lucky family, the old Lucky Sperm Club. But those are the two ways. And
Don't walk with your head down. Don't walk in doubt. Don't walk thinking that you can't. Those who are listening to us, we walk in victory.